Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Board of Selectmen's meeting for Monday, December 2nd. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now we have a consideration for recommending to hire Tara Windsor as a part-time children's librarian.
Hello.
Good evening. How are we doing? All right?
Good. How are you?
Wonderful. The floor is yours.
Oh, okay. Tara's been with us for the last 5 years, and following the interview process, and Tara's also actually done a lot with the children's department. So following the interview process and reference check and so forth, it just seemed to us at this time that it was the best fit for us. I think that she's going to be great for the library. She already knows the community, knows a lot of the patrons, parents and children. So I really think that that she's going to be an excellent fit, and I think she's going to do an excellent job. So I'm essentially at this point looking for your, giving you my recommendation for her appointment.
Okay. Anybody have any other questions on it?
Just what role does she have now?
Currently, she's a library technician. The children's position is a 19-hour-a-week position. She currently probably does somewhere between 6 to 10 hours a week, but obviously it's at a different pay rate.
Is this in addition to?
No, not in addition to.
She's doing a move.
Right, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, moving within the organization, but not in addition to the hours from previous.
And this position has been vacant since you took over as?
No, actually, Lisa Stratton was in the position prior to this. However, she also ran a business and gave in her resignation in September, worked into October conducting story times, but was really there on a very part-time basis. So it's probably been vacated, I would say, since about the third week of October.
But it's been, the full funding's in the budget for this year?
Oh, absolutely,
Okay.
yes. Mhm.
That was my only answer. I don't have anything further.
I move to hire Tara Windsor as the part-time children's librarian at a rate of $18.10 per hour for 19 hours per week, effective December 3rd, 2013.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much, I appreciate it.
Thanks.
We have item 2 is to consider Abacus Situ as architectural firm for the new Taft Library project. Is that working? Thank you.
Thank you very much. We've got David Pollock here from Abacus Situ. Abacus was our unanimous choice for the design services for the project. We interviewed 2 firms, and the other one being DRA, who did the original study for the library for the project. And they came in second, and we were very impressed with Abacus. They'd like to give you a short presentation tonight for your consideration for their work on the project, and so you can see what their skill set is.
Great. So I'm David Pollock, and Abacus Architects and Planners is a firm that I founded in 1989. It's currently run by me and David Eisen, the other principal. We're a 7-person firm in Alston. And we've teamed up on this project with Situ Architects, which is the principals are Celine Larkin and Paul Pachata, because they have a lot of experience with library projects. We have a lot of experience with public projects, with public Chapter 149 projects. We've worked for cities and towns doing both architecture and planning for really since we started. Good timing on the...
No worries.
Plug this in. Not sure, I don't think there's a problem with power. I don't know why it was dark.
You just go to sleep?
Yeah, except that one of the keys seem to be working.
Try the power. Is it back up on the screen there?
No.
No, there's nothing on the screen. Laptop. All right.
There we go.
All right.
Maybe Dawn wants.
So, it's a short slide presentation. It's a mix of a little bit talking about your new library and showing you some of the work that we've done. So here's the church, the site of the new library, and as seen from the street. And one of the things that we're really interested in is making the library a part of the community and opening it up to the community and to the street. Here's your existing library. Here's the back of the new library, which is a totally different picture, really quite closed and a little scary with all these bits and pieces of building. But what's most interesting is that when you turn around and look from the library, this is what you see. And so not only did we really get this idea that the building could embrace the community by opening up to the street, but it could also embrace the landscape and nature and kind of the beauty of what we have here. And this was really the sort of main issue that we took with the planning that had been done previously, which was well organized to meet the programmatic needs of the library, but was really contained very much within the box and left a lot of the kind of small spaces, little rooms and partitions all around the outside that would isolate the building from the life of the town around it. And so we did some sketches showing really opening up the front with glass to participate in the street, and again opening up the back to look out at the woods. In this case, here's the driveway, the parking's behind, so here's the entrance. In this case, it's a roll-in entrance with a three-stop elevator to get up to the main level and down to the lower level. The meeting room, genealogy, conference study room, workroom, and the staircase to take you down. Normally a building would need two means of egress, two staircases to get you up to the exit level, but one of the things that we thought about was that you could potentially open up the lower level as well and have the second means of egress directly out from the lower level, save space and money on the staircase, and also open up the building. Kind of as soon as we had this plan done and started talking about it, we started shuffling it around, looking at ideas of really maybe having an entrance here. Also, potentially, because the site slopes down on the driveway, if you started a handicap ramp at the street end, you could roll right up to the entrance landing and only have to have a two-stop elevator, which would save money. You'd still have stairs convenient to the parking, but you'd come in directly, be able to roll in directly on the level of the upper stop of the elevator. It also doesn't have doors on two different sides, saves some money on the elevator. The librarian's workroom is part of the circulation desk, all glazed in, which really helps with staffing, as opposed to if the workroom was kind of hidden back here, because you can man or staff this level of the library with fewer people. And as soon as we finished this plan, we wanted to do another, but it was time to put it into FedEx to send it off to you. This is how we work this out, we think. We just kind of keep coming through with ideas and then testing them with our engineers, with our cost estimator, and to keep the project on budget, but also meeting the needs back and forth very much with the library and the town. This is a project that we just completed. This is a learning center in Winchendon. And it's just full of kids, and it's sort of exuberant. it's not the way yours is going to look, but it's kind of lifts up and opens to the south with these overhangs so that it gets lots of winter sun when the leaves fall off these big deciduous trees, shading in the summer, and inside a variety of spaces in a very small new building, like a little story room, a kind of a getaway for the older kids, communal work tables, individual workstations, solving this programmatic problem. This is the Framingham Public Library, and it's an accessibility renovation project, but it's not a handicap ramp. What we did is we took out a triple switchback, big brick walled handicap ramp with all the handrails and everything like pack a lunch, and instead this is lower than 5% slope, so it's technically not even a ramp at all. You don't need the wheelchair handrails. It's just a covered walkway, but it's also this kind of exuberant new face to the library, which is not the most beautiful building, this kind of 70s building, and it's really a celebration of the library's role in the community. And this is what it looked like, that canopy 6 weeks ago, 7 weeks ago. It's just about done, but it is going to be this nice gold color, and it's got polycarbonate roofing and everything. Very, very fun, very exciting, and easy. So here's, a sketch of the lower level with this idea that we cut down the parking lot, which actually slopes, so that you could have, you could walk right out, and that there could be meeting spaces and natural light, and just get a lot more value out of that lower level. Like this. This is a senior center and senior housing that just opened in April in Concord, in a turn of the century 1909 elementary school, and this was the basement, but by pulling the earth back and stepping down with gardens and this sort of outdoor living room, and here's the handicap ramp kind of hidden around the corner here, and stairs, it really feels now like it's a main floor, it's a ground floor. It's not entering the basement of the building. There's what it looks like from the inside, looking out from the sort of inside living room, looking out to the outside living room. This used to be the girls' locker room in the basement of the school, but we pulled out a whole piece of the first floor to make this double-height living room in the community center. Another building, this is residential conversion of an old school, and the same thing where the entrance is what used to be the basement. So you can really kind of recover these spaces and using architectural manipulation make lower levels feel really give them sort of an honorific, make them feel like they're a part of the building. And this is up in what used to be the attic of that old school. Made some really nice condominiums. That's in Medford, and this is this school in Medford, where there's a lot of respect for history up to the eave line. Spent a lot of money restoring the masonry, and then these dormers and this kind of explosion of light and fun and glass up above the eave in the old attics of the school. This is a project we're doing for the Winchendon Public Library, which is a beautiful turn-of-the-century library. This is its 100th anniversary this year, and it's about almost 11 feet from the sidewalk to get up to the front door, and the steps are like this tall and everything. So we're carving into the park just very gently to bring you along, because the basement level here is actually exact same level as the street, as the sidewalk on the street out here. So you'll be able to stroll up this wide walk and then come in, and we're kind of making this tall window with a little rain canopy, again, to create a kind of a formality and an elegance, and make a real main entrance to the library instead of a basement entrance. And it's an entrance that's accessible for all. So, and which a lot of it is little kids and strollers and older people. It's not just, it's not wheelchairs really, the people that use libraries, everybody, carrying books, and not to mention staff pushing big carts full of books in and out of the building. We looked at an addition on that project here. to accommodate the needs, and, you know, we're able to figure out how to fit new handicap bathrooms and an elevator and another stair at that new side entrance. We were looking at an image coming up here. Fit it all into the building, fit it into the budget. There's a challenging budget on this project that we're committed to working with everybody and meeting, and you know, we'll find the ways to do that. I'm going to show you a little of Situ's work. Celine and Paul, the principals, were both associates at CBT in Cambridge, big architecture firm, for many years. And this is some of this is CBT work, some of it's Peter Rose Architects' work, but all done by Paul and Celine. This is a Harvard library. This is in a basement. There's all these great big steam pipes and plumbing pipes. But so making these ceilings, bringing light down, making a fun ceiling out of what otherwise would be staring at infrastructure. What can you do in a basement? This is the Spencer Library that Celine worked on. This is a historic library in Montreal that Paul worked on for several years, which is a combination of a loving kind of historic restoration, and which is this part, and then, you know, creation of a significant addition, which is this part. This is a law library that we did in an industrial building for a law office. Again, just working with inexpensive materials, dyed plywood, plaster, you know, maple, simple materials to make a very serviceable forms that can meet a budget. A little community center, you know, public space that opens up and shares with gardens. A spiritual center. This is all Abacus work. Again, using simple, in this case, fir plywood, a straight grain fir plywood, to create a kind of an elegance, but not something stuffy. Color, light. And just want to talk a little about our process, which is, you know, really very helpful and for owners and people that want to participate in the public process. This is a project that we're still in schematic design for. We haven't even submitted, but it's new barrier-free housing for New Bedford Housing Authority. And when we draw, everything is built in what's called Building Information Modeling, or BIM software, Revit software. So we don't draw plans. And when I say we, I draw with a pencil, but people that work for me draw with a computer and make this stuff. They build the buildings in the computer. That's what they do. They put up walls, put on roofs, insert doors, insert windows, put furniture in. It's all components. And as a consequence, you can set up any kind of a view you want. You know, this is a view that's just a plan view looking down. This is a similar view where you slice the top of the building off. You can walk around in the neighborhood, take a bird's eye. So right from the start, these aren't renderings that are done for fundraising or after the project's already built. This is what we do from day one, and it makes it really easy to communicate and talk about objectives and, you know, what you do and you don't want in your library. And just this is just sort of some evidence and some different rendering types. I mean, this is a more photorealistic rendering. This is a more sketchy rendering. But in every case, these are drawings that we did before the buildings were built. So that's a drawing, that's a building, that's a drawing, that's a photograph of the interior. Again, this is the Peter Buckley Terrace in Concord with a view and we use these to pick out the colors and pick out the materials and talk about how the space works, the exterior and the interior of that space. That's what I got.
I think from some of the examples you've seen that they're a pretty talented firm. They've got a lot of good projects on their resume, and most importantly, they're committed to working within our budget, so.
That's a plus.
It certainly is.
No, very impressive. Thank you very much for your time.
A lot of detail. Mr. Chairman, I move to allow the Taft Library Building Committee to enter into
So did you have?
Well, I think there was an issue that we got an email on today regarding, do you want to talk about that?
Well, they were just prepping for the potential of you approving contract negotiations, and we started talking about the way the contract was written. And we saw a version of the contract where their firm made some changes on what our town council recommended as part of the addenda to the RFQ. So we recommend, actually, it was Mary's suggestion, that have our town council talk to their town council to work out all the details as to why some of the changes were made.
Okay.
This is the similar process that we went through when we hired Mary's firm as well. We actually put the lawyers in touch with each other and let them just hammer out the details so that both sides were satisfied.
Sure. We'll just do a pending, contract approval from council or
That's
council.
it, but is that required for negotiations, or is that required for approval?
We're looking for approval so that we can complete the negotiation process.
Right.
So you could approve them pending successful contract negotiations.
Perfect.
So you actually said you interviewed 2 firms? Was there only
Correct.
2 that were
We
interested?
we had 11 firms interested in the project. 3 of them returned proposals. We assume that the others that weren't interested or didn't put together a proposal were turned off by the amount of money we had to offer for the scope of the work.
So we're entering the library contract negotiations pending successful, pending approval by town council?
See for a sec.
This is where it looks like we're going into negotiations. I'm not sure what we're finalizing, if we're just negotiating. I mean, at the end of the negotiations, there'll be a separate approval, which would require the review of town council of the,
Well, town council is in that review with the lawyers from Abacus Situ right now.
Yeah, I don't think you need the last part that we just discussed. I think
Just
that
this part.
that's fine.
yeah.
And then, because we'll end up having to
We're gonna do this
sign the
again.
final contract.
You'll have to sign the contract
Right.
anyways, correct.
All right, so, once again, I move to allow the Taft Library Building Committee to enter into contract negotiations with Abacus Situ as the architectural firm for the new Taft Library project.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much,
Thank
we
you.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
I can barely say it. Just practicing at home.
Consider the conservation restriction for the Strawberry Hill Estates, Vincent Road, discuss. What's happening, Fred?
Hello,
How are you?
good. Let me get my plan over.
Okay.
Excuse me. Strawberry, my name's Fred Lackett from Shea Engineering. We did the plan that we're looking at tonight. And this is an existing 5-lot subdivision of land off of Vincent Road. It was approved by the Planning Board and the Conservation Commission. And as part of the approval process, because this site is located in a priority habitat for the eastern box turtle, there is a requirement to provide permanent protection for that species. In this case, it's in the form of taking 13.5 acres that you see here and establishing a permanent conservation restriction. As part of the process, and we're not looking for any formal approval, it's premature, but I just wanted to give this board a heads up that part of this process will be that once this conservation restriction is worked out with the Conservation Commission and with the Wildlife Program, that we will be looking for your approval, your endorsement basically of the Conservation Commission being the holder of this restriction. the requirement is to have 1.5 times the area that is going to be disturbed in the habitat, and it has to be predominantly upland, since the turtle is an upland species. So this is one restriction that will be on Lot 2 of the subdivision. And it's really just to introduce to you the idea, and we'd like to know if there are any reservations on the part of the selectmen for the Conservation Commission being the holder of the restriction.
No, it's pretty standard.
Yeah, it is. You've probably seen one of these before, maybe.
Yeah, I think we did a few of them so far. I believe that they hold the restriction that's on the Route 16 property. There's only, I think, only a couple of, maybe only one that we did it with the trustees of reservation. What's that called? Is that, I think there was only one instance where we did that because it was all part of the Meadowbrook Woods property that goes into Uxbridge along, the trustees of reservations had all that. So I think that was the only one that our Conservation Commission doesn't hold.
It basically restricts the property from any change in its current condition. You can't have any building, you can't have any whole-scale clearing of the area. You can have, people can walk through it like they can now. There will be 16 signs put around the perimeter just to alert people that come onto the property that it is a restricted area.
Great.
All right.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you very much, Fred. Can discuss town's compensation plan? Carry over? Oh, no, forget.
How you doing? I'm not exactly sure how to start, because basically why I'm here is I have always known about, and you have known because you've been dealing with the compensation plan that the town has for quite some time. And my feeling is that we're not as close to it as we'd like. And so I'm here basically to promote the plan because it's a simple and beautifully just consistent, fair plan for compensation. And the structure of the compensation plan is such that it can be applied to any employee in the town. It isn't, and I understand that, and I don't expect it to be, but the structure of it is such that it can be applied to any position. And each position, we went through a review back in the late 90s, 97, 98, where every position was classified. It was given a rating. And the rating itself is a numerical system. Every position was actually assigned a number. And although I didn't make copies of them, but there are a number of qualifications that are listed for every position, such as whether a person is in a supervisory capacity or how they are supervised, how autonomous they are, what type of educational degree the position might need, and other things. And a numerical value is actually assigned to each category. When you're done assigning all of the numerical values, you add up all the numbers, and that final number it tells you what grade that position should be. We did that back in the late 90s, all right, so every position has already been through that. So we all actually have a grade assigned to our positions already. That's already been a done deal. Then in 2001, we had a staffing study done where additional work was done with the personnel, and this was not all over the town. This was just a select number of positions were reviewed, position descriptions were created for each position, and then the staffing study went into some other areas as far as whether or not what people were being paid at that time was appropriate. There were some changes made, and then time went on. So fast forward up to 2013, we've had a number of positions that have been created, but I don't believe they've had grades assigned to them. And my point is that it's such a convenient tool for the town to use going forward for any position, whether it's library, in the town hall, police, highway, senior center, doesn't matter. It can work for all of us, and it makes the job going forward, even in contract negotiations, very, very easy, because everything is laid out. So when we're advertising for new positions, such as we've had and will continue to have, we already have an established range of salary for them. There's very little discussion, and the advertisements can be done very, very quickly. I know, I'll just point only at myself, that was not the case for myself coming into my job. Would it have been easier? I can imagine it would have been. I wasn't involved in that part of it, but, I think it would have been had we had that range, had we utilized that range. So, I know it's nothing that you haven't seen. You've been dealing with this, but mostly I just want to promote it, support it, give it a big, huge pat on the back, and encourage its use, because it's a great tool for the town.
So I guess what the request is then is that we would review the grading, because I mean, the steps are this, on the grading step chart, the steps are the steps. You have to just figure out which grade you live in.
Yeah, I mean, if we're on here, and there's sort of a couple things here. So we've got the grades, right? And the steps identified. So that's something we've started to work with, right? I think it's another component we need to integrate into the process, right? And I think what I'm hearing is there are specific job roles and profiles that should probably be slotted more specifically to the current step system, as we roll out a new position, because I think the more we get into sort of maybe these shared roles or hybrid roles or part-time, full-time, we want to make sure there's a level of equity from a performance management standpoint. But I think it's one piece, so I would probably say we've actually started that work. I think we've wrapping up our first round of performance evaluations done in some time, which is another piece of it, right?
That is another, yes, it is. There's been just a couple of positions created just recently that could have had, because the intent of the system is that a job is worth what a job is, and it removes personal
the thing we have to
intentions.
I'm sorry, but the thing we have to be careful of is I'm not sure I'm in a position without this town administrator role to evaluate what the job should be. So if it's a new job, we are going with what we think is the right solution.
Right.
I do think that, and I think this is even part of past discussions, is that we've got to take another look even at the matrix, the step matrix, to see is that, I mean, you're talking something, so far what I've heard is things are over a decade old, the last thing that was done, so.
We've got
to revisit the whole, and we are revisiting the whole process, I think.
And to that end, I guess I would want to make sure that we don't throw it out for lack of not being able to keep up with it.
No, we're going the other direction.
Right,
Because-
I think that this is
We're going in the other
first time that
direction.
we've actually really
Tried to.
made steps forward. We're actually using it where it's in, for instance, in the town hall contract, it's there. There's
Yeah.
now, we were able to, with the amount of money that we use for increases in this past year, that we allocated some towards a step increase and some towards
Yep.
the difference towards the COLA. And I
And-
think that that's the,
And that's key.
right. And
I think that's
that-
key.
That was our first step in getting this moving. I think that now that we've done that, that once we have a town manager, town administrator, whatever the wording may be,
It's not manager.
no, that's for sure, sorry, yeah. That we will have, that person will now take this and really take a good look at it and work it to its full potential. Whereas, again, we've just really started the ball rolling with it. But I think we're all in agreement. I know that is, you know, the direction that I've been looking in, so.
Well-
Two things, I'm sorry, two things I heard. One, it's the first time I've ever heard a compensation plan or called beautiful, so that was great. But
When you
secondly,
get something as simple as that, it is.
but the job profile, the numeric quantified way of slotting jobs, I didn't know about that. I'd be curious to know more about it.
I had looked into it a long time ago, and because I'm not being critical, I come here as a cheerleader, basically, for the compensation plan, and to offer whatever help I can be. I know that I did it. I went through the steps at one point in time, just as an exercise, at the time, just for curiosity, and I stepped through doing what I would have done had it been up to me, which it wasn't at that time at all. But had it been, I went through the steps of assigning numerical values and working it through. I worked it all the way through for a position in town. And I would be more than happy to do that. It's numbers. It's just numbers. And
I'd just be curious to see what the process was in 2001 to understand what was done at that time, more curiosity.
And to that end, it was 1997 is what you're talking about, because that's what there was
I meant the staffing study.
no, it's not the staffing study, it's the position evaluation.
Okay, but I want to see the staffing study, too.
But that was its complement. It was complemented by the staffing study. It's just that the position evaluations were townwide, pretty much except for fire and police, and the staffing study was not.
Townwide exclusion
Except
of
for-
public safety is a
yeah.
pretty big exclusion.
It was, well,
In schools.
In school.
well, yeah. But it was,
No, but I'd be curious to know more, what was done
yep.
12 years ago and maybe
Well, and I-
15 years ago.
I think because it was a long time ago, that's why I also felt,
I think
maybe
it's another
what's coming
piece
back.
of what we're trying to do that we hadn't even thought about in terms of just slotting job roles. I think it's just one more piece that would be helpful for anyone coming into this position, administrative position, because we do want them to say, okay, overall compensation strategy.
yep. It's a system it's used in other places, as far as I can tell, lots of other places. And it is a simple, consistent, fair, easy system.
Gene?
It is a beautiful thing.
I gotta get my eyes on this thing.
Also, I really did like that library presentation. I just want to go on record saying I was very impressed by it all.
Yeah.
I was as well.
That compensation plan, and true, we're working together with you with the union, but initially, every single position in town, other than the teachers, every single position in town, at the time that compensation plan was developed, were involved in that. So it's not just union positions,
Right.
outside, but, you know, in all due respect, your board has actually taken a couple of existing positions that were in that compensation plan and taken them out. And I think what we're trying to say is that's really kind of skewing things because you're taking them off. I mean,
Which ones were they?
well, your secretary for one.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. What we haven't done is we haven't slotted the administrative assistant position. This is not a secretarial position.
Well, whatever.
We eliminated that position.
What I'm saying is that you're still someplace on that chart you could have put that.
Understood, we have not slotted a new position. That's why I said, I'm very specific with my words for a reason, Jane. We haven't slotted that position, it's something I think we need to do. And see if that fits, right? Which it will somewhere. I mean, to some extent, I know we've looked at, we didn't completely remove it, I think we even referenced some of it with some of our discussions, so. But the position you're referring to does not exist,
Okay, now you have the police clerk.
which has not been filled yet, right?
Right.
Okay.
Well, I'm just saying that because at
Right.
town meeting you did
We
put some money into an account.
Right.
Okay. And like I said, I'm not debating the amount as much as putting them on this someplace so they fit in.
Agreed. I think that, understood. So if the point was a couple of, if the point to be made here was, again, because I think we're working this to its final end, I hope. But if the point to be made here was that there was a couple positions that aren't in there, we'll be sure that everybody's included. When I think that, I think it
If it
warrants
makes
a full.
sense.
I think it warrants a full evaluation, and once the evaluation is completed, that we have an understanding of. But again, I know that I don't have the ability, I don't have the knowledge per se to do that. I think that we're so close to a town administrator that person needs to really take charge of that once that person's in the
And the
role.
other point I want to make is, through past conversations, what I keep hearing is that it has to change, it has to change. So what was done 15 years ago, I'm not signing up for because it was done 15 years ago. I want to evaluate the process. We just updated the performance evaluation form because we looked at the one that was there and we said, well, we might be able to do something better, right? So I agree with the chairman, we're looking at it. I'd say we're moving more closely to it than away from it.
Yeah, all right. Well, and that was my
expect to
point.
continue
That
to
was
do
my
so.
point, was to bring it up again and put it up on the table and sort of reiterate how convenient it could be for everyone.
It's a beautiful thing.
It's a beautiful thing. It's a,
We are in
it's-
violent agreement.
it's rare when you find something so simply beautiful.
Yeah, no,
It's easy.
All right,
But
thank you very much. We're duly noted. All right, let's move into these. Oh, we got it. First, we're going to have, consider an application for Alicante LLC, DBA Alicante Mediterranean Grill, Restaurant and Lounge, 84 Oxford Road, change of hours.
So it's whether they're moving from 1 AM to 2 AM. And so it begins.
Allow the floodgates to open. Again, I have no concern with the extra hour.
Yeah, no, I mean,
His original request was to just be open for New Year's Eve, and then that started. We
Understood.
can't just do it for one day.
okay, so I move to approve the change of closing hours for Alicante LLC 84 Uxbridge Road to 2 AM pending positive routing slips.
Second?
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, 2014 license renewals. Are these grouped together, or are these individual?
They're grouped together. They have,
So on each motion has, all the common vics are on one motion.
well, I just did them all on one.
I got one motion, I think I can read through 2 pages.
Perfect, hit it.
All right.
Well, say as written.
Am I signing this?
That's it?
I think you can.
Are we
Yes,
waiting?
Make
You
sure
can
she's-
just say as written, right?
as I wrote the motion.
Well, what you can do is you can just do this.
Oh.
So we're doing license renewals for restaurant, all alcohol, and common vic. There's NLC, yeah, just read it.
I move to
I
renew.
would just have to read it.
Renew the restaurant all alcohol common victualler licenses for NLCK Incorporated, doing business as Lowell's Restaurant, 75 Cape Road, Stephen Hackinson, doing business as Willow Brook Restaurant, 16 Hastings Streets, Alicante LLC, doing business as Alicante Mediterranean Restaurant and Lounge, 84 Uxbridge Road, Miss Mendon Diner, 16 Uxbridge Road, Miss Mendon Diner 2, 20 Uxbridge Road, including full function hall, Blackstone Valley Pizza Incorporated, doing business as the Hideaway Pizza, 95 Uxbridge Road. Now, can I keep going?
Well, this is restaurant all alcohol?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can, just read it now. These ones will be restaurant, all
Okay, so
alcohol.
these are going to be restaurant, all alcohol, common victual, live entertainment, dancing by patrons licenses for Rouleau and Sons Incorporated, doing business as Myriad Ballroom, Uxbridge Road, Route 16, New England Steakhouse Incorporated, doing business as New England Steak and Seafood, 11 Uxbridge Road. These are going to be restaurant, all alcohol licenses for MGM McCarthy Greenhouses, Inc., doing business as the Greenhouse Wood-Fired Pub, 3 Cape Road. This is going to be the package store, all alcohol, common victual licenses for Lab Inc., doing business as Mendon Wine and Spirits, 32 Hastings Street. P&P Liquors Incorporated, doing business as Pop and Cork, 1A Cape Road. The following are going to be package store, beer and wine, common victular licenses for Kristen's Variety, doing business as the General Store, 32 Hastings Street. This will be the restaurant, wine and malt, regular, common victular licenses for ATLK LLC, doing business as Deluxe Pizza, 32 Hastings Street. This will be restaurant, all alcohol, common victular, automatic amusements, live entertainment, dancing by patrons licenses for Roy Ventures Corp. doing business as the End Zone Sports Pub. The Outer Limits, 39 Milford Street. Barry Fanouf doing business as Barry's Place, 35 Hastings Street. These will be the common victular, live entertainment, dancing by patrons, licenses for Rad Skate Park LLC, 49 Uxbridge Road. These common victular licenses for A&Z Golden Corporation, doing business as DB Mart, number 3, 1 Milford Street. Northman LLC, doing business as Uber Cafe, 32 Hastings Street. Chishal Enterprises Incorporated, doing business as Sunny Farms, 1B Cape Road. Street license for William Musi, 42 Colonial Drive. They are all pending, no outstanding issues on BOS routing slips.
Second.
Subway is not on here.
I haven't received their application yet, so some of them aren't on here that you'd normally see because I haven't gotten the paperwork back.
Okay. The only discussion I have on it, could you just check on the Merit Ballroom one? Just check the address.
6 Newmark Drive?
It's just, well, it's listed as Uxbridge Road, Route 16.
What is listed
Myriad Ballroom.
on
Oh,
the-
doing business as Merit Ballroom. No. It says Uxbridge Road, Route 16. So, I mean, is the license right?
I wrote the license right, and I think I redlined what the,
That's okay, I just wanted to make sure
Yeah.
that, as long as the license is right, I'm good to go. All in favor?
Aye.
Discuss replacing carpeting / refinishing floors in the town hall. That's just gonna be ongoing, and I think that I'm gonna try to have further discussions with Ann Mazar on that, because if we can I know that we had them come in and look at refinishing the floors. I think that if we were to pay for it, just regular out-of-pocket, I don't think it makes sense to do it, but if we can use CPC money as historical renovation, then I really think that that might be a good use of the money. So I'd like to get with Ann Mazar on the Historical Commission. I know I've already had a quick back and forth in an email. I don't know that I can't remember. I have to look it up.
the gentleman that came in,
With me?
yes,
Yes.
is he supposed to be getting back to us with
No.
costs?
No,
Oh,
I don't think so.
oh,
I think I wanted to talk to Historical first and Ann first
okay.
to make sure that this was something that we would want to do.
okay.
Because again, it's going to be expensive to do, more expensive than just replacing a rug or anything like that, only because of the way that they laid the rug down. They glued the rug, as you saw when you pulled up that section. So in order to refinish the floors, you have to now sand the glue off and then sand the floors. But it's really cool wood underneath the rug, which would show really nice and, way better than, wasting the view of them on rug. I mean, even this floor upstairs, but this is oak or maple, I think. I think this is actually maple. I think the floor downstairs was ash, I think he said, which, again, would show really good once refinished, so.
I'm guessing the Historical Commission's gonna wanna know how much it's going to cost.
You know what, we'll need to measure the square footage. Let me see if I can get a cost ahead of time
Well,
before.
because I have measurements from when the carpeting people
Oh,
came in.
if you give me those measurements, I can get them to them and they can give me an answer. All right. And again, the price that we would get would only be for the refinishing. It won't include repairs yet because we really need, there's a couple areas we know need to be repaired. So yes, we kind of understand that. There's a couple spots that would be a little bit of the unknown at the moment, but again, I think well worth the repair.
Okay.
Right. Discuss municipal clerk. I don't think we need to.
Just getting back to the compensation plan discussion, do we want to start understanding how the public safety clerk slots in?
Why not?
Just ask for your job profile and what the grade level
Why
is from
don't
the
we
chief.
use that one as an
Starting point.
example or starting point of actually running it through the whole process?
Okay.
And then that way we'd understand it. Okay. Why don't we do that?
Shoot chief a note saying, can we understand, get the job description and sort of the pay rate, and we can then just bounce it up against the grid to see how that works out.
Perfect, thanks. Anything else?
No, I'm good.
Capital expenditure account, I don't think that's just an ongoing item. Approved minutes for October 1st, November 18th, 19th, 25th. Those all open meetings, or is there any executive session in there?
In the motion, it says, I think there was,
Okay.
I might not have even,
Right.
there was one executive session I sent you this morning.
So
don't
can
get
I
a
do
chance to
a,
look
can
at
I
it.
do a single motion if we were not all at all these meetings, or should I do them separately?
You can just do the motion.
I move to approve the regular meeting minutes of October 21st, November 18th, 19th, and 25th, 2014, and the executive,
You can do it with the executive session.
I read the year.
2013.
Yeah, just change it. I stopped. I caught myself. So I'm going to start over again.
Trying to trick you.
I move to, well, I told you I was going to read whatever you say.
Success.
I move to approve the regular meeting minutes of October 21st, November 18th, 19th, and 25th, 2013, and the executive session minutes of November 18th, 2013, not to be released.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
You'll read whatever you put on the teleprompter.
Apparently, most of us have seen that movie.
Consider Algonquin Gas request to test rear Colonial Field.
Near.
Oh, near Colonial Field, Colonial Drive. What do they want to do? Test the gas line?
No, they.
Is this the Tennessee gas line, guys?
Algonquin Gas.
Is that the main
This just came.
big pipeline? Or is it just some gas in the street?
They want to,
I mean, they're not doing it on Colonial Field, because I saw somebody put a note saying, make sure they don't do the soccer field. I'm like,
On
that's
the
across
map,
the
it's
street,
across
isn't
the
it?
street.
Yeah, okay.
I'm trying to find the email. There it is.
Oh, so it's across the street from the soccer field. Is that what the little red line is?
Well, he said, Algonquin is evaluating locations to install a cathodic protection system to further improve the safety of their pipeline. In order to check the suitability of one of the locations, their contractor would like to take several soil restively tests in the area shown on the attached Google image across from the soccer field on Colonial Drive. These tests are very simple and non-intrusive. The tests are performed by placing steel rods into the earth at predetermined distances from one another. Then readings are taken from a battery-operated instrument, and the distances of the rod is varied to achieve data for calculation purposes. The rods are inserted just enough so that they will stand up. They would repeat this 6 to 10 times. The testing does not take long. It would be completed within 2 to 3 hours.
They take the rods back out when they're done, I'm assuming? Yeah, I'm okay.
In the motion, it talks about no disturbance to the field. Do we need to be more specific to say there's no?
No disturbance to anything. And when they're done, I think I'd like to, other than the fact.
Well, if they drive on the field, they could damage the sprinkler system.
Well, why are they driving on the field?
Well, when I
Shouldn't be.
originally talked to him, it sounded like it was really close to the field, near the, but then when I got the email, it said
Didn't sound
something a
like it
little bit
was.
different.
Okay.
So no, we're good with no
Just don't go on the
disturbance?
field. Stay off the field.
All right, so I move to allow Algonquin Gas to perform soil restively testing and take measurements near the soccer field and Colonial Drive for a cathodic protection system, as long as there's no disturbance to the soccer field.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anything further? No executive session?
Nope, we have an executive session.
Huh?
We do have an
We do?
executive, yep.
What, for what?
I think two things. One, you want me to read the motions, then we can,
Oh, yeah, sure.
is there anything else before we,
I don't have anything.
you're gonna love this motion too, the way it ends. I move to enter into executive session under Mass General Law, C-30A, Section 21, to consider the value of real estate for which discussion at any open meeting may have a detrimental effect on negotiating position of the public body, and to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining, as an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining position of the public body, and the chair so declares.
So declared.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call vote is needed. We'll reconvene only to adjourn. All in favor?
Goddard, aye.
Tenio, aye.
Real eye.